We are so beyond excited to be here with what we call our Fred of the Month. Our Fred of the Month, it's a little bit of a longer story, but for the purposes for what you need to know right now, is essentially think of it as a client spotlight, a client of the month, that kind of thing. It goes to not only somebody who is a rock star in terms of results, but it goes to somebody who's a rock star in terms of being a fine human being. And Brian exemplifies it. We're proud to honor him this month. He's not only gotten great results, which he'll share, but he's just an inspiration in so many ways. He is the epitome of what we're about in terms of our core values, which are having fun, because we know that's important. It's a family atmosphere. Those are two of our core values, and Brian exemplifies both of those. He always brings it. He always has a great attitude, super positive guy. I'm proud to call Brian a friend and a client. So, Brian, welcome to this is actually our first Friend of the Month live. So if you could start by just sharing with us a little bit about yourself, whatever you're comfortable sharing, Brian, just, your a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do, that kind of thing.
Sure. And I appreciate that you say it's a friend and it's a core value, because one of the things what drew me to TBBC is that friendliness and that family value. So, and I'll touch on that a little bit more, but I'm happy to be here. We had a nice workout this morning at 9 o'clock, but I live in Seaford. I've been here for about 30 years. I moved from Queens, New York, about 30 years ago with my two kids, a boy and a girl, both out of the house now. I have two grandchildren, one 2 and one just, I guess, 5 weeks old today now, right? So she'll be 5 weeks. I go by Fridays, Bill. I don't go by dates. So she was born on a Friday, but moved out to Seaford. And a little background about me. Most recently retired at the end of December, beginning of January. It was very stressful, at the end of my career, leaving, kind of just retiring and not easing into it. And I've been in the pharmaceutical world for the past 6 years, and then prior to that, I was on Wall Street in finance and banking. And then prior to that, I spent a career in supply chain management, aviation services. But I've been an avid, kind of healthy nut, if you will. Trying to stay in shape and eat healthy. But I did struggle with weight, and I have struggled with weight all my life. I've gone up and down multiple times, and I've gone up again most recently, as a result of leaving the workforce. I mentioned to Billy that I'm going to be 64 in June. And one of the things that I just want to make sure of is I'm not one of those people who, just sits in a chair and, waits for the day to set and the day to rise and does nothing. But background, like I said, married, live in Seaford, 2 kids. My son is an avid healthcare fanatic as well. He enjoys working out, goes to the gym. He's a bodybuilder. One time dabbled with doing professional and competitive bodybuilding. Did compete once, and I did see him go through, and I was touching on that a little bit earlier, or in a different conversation Billy and I had, but he decided not to do it, because in order to really excel in professional and competitive bodybuilding, you have to almost go on the dark side. So I'm kind of sharing a little bit of juicing and, those things. And, on our way down to his competition, and this is going back probably 10, 15 years ago, I asked him a question, is he willing to juice and put his health and his life at risk? And he decided not to. So just a little bit about us. I mentioned that will mention that I'm an avid cook. I love to cook. I love to cook Italian food, not necessarily the healthiest. I made eggplant parmesan last week. We ate it very judiciously. So, but I do enjoy cooking, and I love to grill in the summertime. Very active. I love to camp. I love to hike. I golf. I'm going to get back into fishing now that I'm retired. But I did go through about a depression in the last quarter of last year and the beginning of this year before I joined the gym. And the reason for that is that I wasn't keeping active. And what I really felt was very, very important for me was, now with two grandchildren, was that, you know, I didn't want to be that statistic. I didn't want to be that person who, you know, you look at and you say, you know, yeah, go to the cookie aisle, you know, and those are the nasty remarks that people say, right? And listen, I eat a cookie now and again. I'm not going to lie. But, you know, but I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. I was brought up on, you know, growing up in a town in Rosedale. My father was, you know, blue collar worker. We didn't have a lot. We couldn't afford all the, you know, extravagant sodas and things like that. So we were brought up to eat very, very healthy. You know, I mean, for me, it was always three vegetables and a protein, you know, very little starches. And I like that. But what I really like about, and I'm glad that Billy and I talked about this, is I was the former director of benefits and well-being for Regeneron Pharmaceuticals. I was there for 6 years. The great thing about that was I was able to build benefit programs for employees, but as well, I had the entire wellness for the company under my umbrella. And that included our Ireland location and our UK location. So balancing wellness across borders was really, really interesting and challenging. But what it did is it gave me resources to one of the managers that I had working next to me is a certified health professional. I can't even pronounce the letters behind her name, but what I got from her was a lot of tips on how to stay healthy. When I left Regeneron, and it was kind of abrupt, a great company, you know, had a good run with them, and I'm now retired. I'm actually feeling a lot better, but I went through a period of time where I started to gain the weight back. At my height of weight in my life, I was approaching somewhere above 250 pounds, 255 pounds. And most recently, the end of the year and the beginning of the year, and I was going to the gym 4 days a week and walking, you know, another day, so 5 days, I was hitting 230, 235. And, you know, I use a measurement, which I know you're not supposed to use, but it's a good one for me. I use my pant size. When I know my pants are loose, I know that I'm losing weight. So I don't necessarily look at the scale all the time because muscle is weight. And, you know, people were telling me that. So when I made the decision to rejoin a gym, I was looking for, you know, a place that was not going to have the frills. I don't need the fluffy towels. I don't need the luxurious soap. I don't need bubble baths after I work out. I need a place where I can go for 45 minutes and exert myself and get that resourceful knowledge on how to do it right and how to get results. So based on that, you know, when I looked up Total Body Boot Camp, and by the way, I have a friend of mine, and Billy and I chatted about this when I first joined, who owns a gym in Elmont, New York, called Valencia Fitness, and he's been a fitness buff all his life and a bodybuilder as well. And but I was looking for that type of gym that really had that friendly atmosphere, but yet pushes you. And I think at one point on one of our posts on Facebook, I have some names for some of the trainers. You know, Ryan is the Ryanator, you know, Kick-Ass Kathy, you know, deck of cards, Billy, and you and I laugh about that, but I love that. And the fact that I joined, I was in the gym, I think for 3 weeks, and then we went into total lockdown. I was saying to myself, I started to make progress because I just felt better mentally, physically. What am I going to do now? And the fact that we were able to, and Billy was able to, and the team was able to put this together. And I have a finished basement. You can probably see, if you know, behind me, and I have a couple of pictures that Billy's going to post later of my equipment. And they loaned to me, by the way, and loaned everybody to get through this. And here's a funny story. Before I got the equipment, Billy knows that I was doing curls with a case of Miller Lite, and I was doing, you know, overhead presses with Miller Lite, and I was using, you know, just improvising. But the fact of the matter is that I shared with the team when we worked out, I think last week, and I weighed myself again this morning, that I'm down from, I think it was about 238 pounds when I joined. Carol will have to look at the records when you get back into the gym, but I'm back down to about 218 pounds, as 19 pounds as of today. So to me, from February until now, to take off that weight, in spite of the fact that we're locked in, but able to do this virtually, is just incredible. I mean, that to me is a testament of what a good virtual resource is and a gym is. So I'm happy. I'm, they're challenging. Billy knows that and I think I mentioned I'll be 64 in June. I'm starting to feel a little bit of the joint pain and, maybe a little bit of the start of arthritis. But being 64 and being very, very, kind of athletic and, doing a lot of work throughout my life, this is to be expected. But I think what anybody can really appreciate by particularly, total body boot camp, because this is me with the team, and it's just so much fun when we go there and we laugh. I mean, even the virtual workouts, we can laugh. And just the things that we do, I wasn't able to make your anniversary because I had a little retirement dinner that I had to go to. But for me, Billy, it's been really great. Like Kathy, Amy, Ryan. I haven't worked out with Bill Howard yet. I did work out with you. And, what I miss the most, because I don't have 8-foot ceilings in my basement, Billy will attest to the fact that I'll say, instead of doing thrusters, right, or full presses, I'll go into almost a wall sit and do presses, which is pretty incredible. So I think the fact that we're getting this virtual one-on-one for me has been tremendous. The fact that I've lost, 19, 20 pounds, and keeping it up has been fantastic. I'm happy. I'm working out 6 days a week, and I'm hoping, I just really can't wait. I think you asked the question, Bill, what's the one thing I'm looking forward to when we get back? The one thing I'm looking forward to is getting back into the full service to be able to jump, and do those things. So, to anybody out there who thinks that you can't do this virtually, I just say absolutely not. I know for a fact, myself, I need that motivation. I could probably do all this on my own, but I know I won't push myself. And I need, that encouragement from other people and that challenge. So, I was never competitive in my life, but maybe I am competitive by wanting to be with other people to be able to do that. So, I hope that gives you some insight, Bill, on how I progressed and, what I've.
Absolutely. Just a few comments based on some of the things you said. One is congrats again, having a granddaughter throughout this lockdown. That's so exciting. Definitely have a special place in my heart for little girls. And banking, you're in the banking industry, so thank God you're out of that right now, right? That's what I thought of when you said that. And then finally, the thing that resonates with me is that you've been resourceful, and you gave us credit, and I appreciate that. But the reality is that you're doing it, and a lot of people are going to make excuses and say that they can't work out because of the current situation. They can't get to a gym. There's always a way. There's always a way. There's a quote that's up on the wall at our gym. It's Coach John Wooden, and it says, "Do not let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do."
Right.
Very applicable here. So Brian, you've done awesome. If there's one last thing I would like you to share, just a short 30 seconds. Just share with anybody watching some of the benefits you've experienced. You mentioned losing 19 pounds in just a short while. And what are some other benefits you've noticed? And just curious, could be anything unrelated to weight loss or anything else.
Yeah, my stamina. So I'm going to share something specific. In addition to loving to cook, I really do love to cook. I also enjoy landscaping, and I did landscaping as a kid with a fireman, part time. But one of the things that I take a lot of pride in is my lawn. You can call me a lawn care nut. I do belong to an association called the Lawn Care Nut to try and get a nice lawn. But if you ever watch when people cultivate their gardens, last year, and I use a special cultivating rake for it to turn the soil. Last year, I would have to stop 2 to 3 times to catch my breath, and my muscles were sore. And I've noticed over the past 4 weeks since I started getting my yard prepared for the spring and the summer, that I could literally go out there and blow through it, and I'm not feeling out of breath, and I'm not feeling fatigued in my arms. So, the tangible, transferable result is being able to do that. You know, what I'm hoping to do is, you know, and again, you know, I mentioned I'm going to be 64, so my knees are bothering me a little bit, my joints when the weather is shitty, crappy, you know, a little difficult to get out and run. But my goal is that, you know, now that I'm getting that stamina back, is to get back out and do what I call my niche, which is a 5K. I like 3-mile runs. You know, to me, it's a good run. You know, it's not too much, it's not too little. And if I feel good, I'm hoping that I'll, you know, like some days I'll go and I'll do a 5-mile run, you know, and that's what I'm hoping for, Bill, is to take that. And what I've seen, you know, like having that energy, it's just incredible, you know, dropping the weight and just how much better you feel.
Very cool, Brian. Thanks for sharing. The reason I asked you that is because a lot of us, we get so caught up in the numbers, and it's great. You know, we want to lose weight, and that happens. But there's so many other things that we often neglect to give credit to. Things like more energy, being able to have more endurance, being able to feel better emotionally, which you alluded to as well.
Yeah.
More positive. So I just want to thank you for all your hard work, your dedication. You're an inspiration. I hope everybody who's watching on Facebook Live appreciated Brian sharing. So would appreciate you if you could give Brian some love. The guy's working his tail off and is getting the results to show for it. And I also just enjoyed time with you, Brian. You're a great, well-rounded guy. I love your different interests, and I hope to learn about lawn care from you because mine is not pretty. So
I'm gonna you share the body and the health with me, and I'll share the health of the lawn with you.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks, Brian, for your time.
Thank you, Bill.
Weekend, and we'll talk soon.
No, I'll see you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock.
Yep.
All right, Bill.